Welcome to the Adventures in Alchemy podcast, where we share tips, techniques, and true stories to support you in using the law of attraction and alchemy to create magic and live the life of your dreams. Here's your host, the founder of DailyAlchemy.com, Michelle Martin Dobbins.
Hey, it's Michelle Martin Dobbins with the Adventures in Alchemy podcast. I'm coming to you from DailyAlchemy.com. And today I want to talk to you about a great way to reframe the story when something bad happens to you that makes it really more positive and helps you get going. In the last podcast, I spoke about where I'd been because I took an unplanned, probably almost 3-month sabbatical because of some health and mental challenges. I talked a little bit about that in the last podcast. One of the things that I didn't talk about, even though I talked about 3 ways to kind of get yourself out of the spiral, was something that I did that helped me change my story. And I did not come up with this idea on my own. It actually came from listening to another podcast, a great podcast. James Wedmore does a podcast called Mind Your Business, and he talks about a lot of the kind of woo-woo stuff that I talk about, but he talks about it from a perspective of running your business. And he also talks about the practical aspects of running an online business. And so if you do an online business or are thinking about it, it's a great podcast to listen to. James Wedmore, Mind Your Business. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. But if you go under iTunes and look, you'll find it. So he talks about how when he was not making very much money and stuff, and he really wanted to reach these great heights because he does have a 7-figure online business. And, for him, one of the ways he got past is saying, why do I need to make that much money and I need to have that much stuff and everything? And the thing was, for him, it was the story where he's like, look, I did it, you can too. So he could motivate other people. So he could, how can I say, oh, this is possible for you if I haven't done it too? So it's a great story, a great reason to sometimes work around our mind that says, well, you don't need to have all that. Well, why do you deserve that? If you can tell your mind, hey, this is why, because I have to do it to help someone else. And I think that's an excellent story for anybody at kind of any level, because you can keep bumping up that game. So for me, when I started feeling really bad, I was like, okay, well, this is the story of, a time that I felt bad and I got through it. So I can tell somebody else, yeah, I've been there. I've not been able to get up out of bed hardly. And I got through it and I refocused my thoughts and I did what I needed to take care of my health. And now, look, I feel great. I feel better. So that was a story that I used, and it's on a much lower starting and finishing scale than James Wedmore going from, living in his parents' basement to making 7 figures. But I feel like I'm still on the progress of that health thing. And so I'm hoping that, I'm committing that, from where I am right now, I'm going to be even stronger, even healthier, get my strength back, get my flexibility back, and even more because I hadn't been doing as many exercise things and hikings and things that I used to do. And I'm really looking forward to starting to do that and to maybe doing new things that I've never been able to do before, doing some yoga poses that I couldn't do even years ago. So I am excited to do that. And one of the ways that I use the story is, if I can go from feeling sick and weak to feeling strong and healthy, then I can help other people know that that's possible for them. And so the reason I tell you this is because you can do the same thing wherever you are. I had someone recently tell me that there was something they wanted to do and they couldn't do it because they were too old, and they were so angry with themselves because they should have known. like, okay, you're sitting on the outside and you're probably like me and you're going to say, that's crazy, right? They should have known 10 years ago and they should have practiced, but they didn't know about it. So now they can't and they're too old. And literally they're not too old. Okay. I think for most things, that window of being too old is very false. You know, you might be too old to be a gymnast in the Olympics, but I don't think nowadays there's not even really an age where you're too old to compete in the Olympics, because some events, you know, require a more precise skill and it doesn't necessarily go away with age. It may improve in age. I see some of the people in shooting competitions and the archery and different things that are actually more advanced in age. And, you know, there's so many things that you can do. So my thought, you know, my story to this person was, don't say, oh my gosh, I can't do this because I didn't know about it 10 years ago. And so now, you know, it's over. I've missed my prime. My prime is gone. And my thought is, no, this is perfect, right? This is perfect, because when you tell other people, yeah, I found out about this later in life than I would have liked to. And I was a little bit nervous and I didn't think I could do it. But guess what? I started where I was and I did it. And then it's not only for you, it's a motivation. You can share that with other people and let them know that they can do the same thing too. And that's a beautiful thing, you know, because a lot of us, it's hard for us to want something just for ourselves. And, you know, BTW, it is fine. It is wonderful. And it is magnificent to want something just for yourself, just because you want to do it. But it is also lovely to have that boost of knowing, when I do this, I can help other people. I can open the way. And if you don't think that's a true story, that you're doing something opens the way for other people, just look. And I haven't done my research. This is just popping into mind, but I do know that, you know, it took a long time for someone to cross. I believe it was the 4-minute mile. I might be wrong. It was the 3-minute mile. And I don't know who did it, but once one person did it, then everybody was doing it. I mean, not everybody, but tons of people were doing it. It was like once somebody crossed that barrier and said, hey, this is possible. You can do this. Then other people were like, oh, well, if they did it, I can do it too. So how wonderful is it that you have the opportunity to do that? You may not run the first 4-minute mile or the first 2-minute mile, or you may not be the first to do something, and it may not be, you know, a world record sporting event. But, you know, what if you're the first in your family or the first in your circle of friends to go back and get a college degree, or you're the first to start your own business, or you're the first to, you know, adopt a child? I don't know. But whatever's on your heart that you want to do, or whatever situation you want to change. If you're sick and you want to get better, if you're broke and you want to get some money, do it. Do it for yourself. That is, you know, wonderful and beautiful. Do it for yourself, but also do it because you're helping everybody else. And it's a beautiful story that you can share that will help everybody in the world. And, you know, maybe the whole world won't know, but the people who need to know are the people that you'll connect with, and you can share your story. So I encourage you to take one little step today towards your new reality. Okay, so if you're sick, take one little step, one little focus on getting healthier. And remember, whenever you feel like you can't do it, remember you're not doing it just for you. You're doing it for anybody else that you're going to motivate and inspire from what you've done. And you can do it. I know that you can. So have a lovely day. Go out, make some magic. Namaste and big hugs until next time.
Thanks for listening to the Adventures in Alchemy podcast. Connect with me on thedailyalchemy.com or Facebook at facebook.com/Michelle Dobbins, author. Join us next time for even more magical life tips.